Zeboyd, come play with us.
In My Friendly Neighborhood, you explore an abandoned kids show full of puppets that are still alive and want to give rather painful hugs. Really appreciated this game in that it did horror, but in a very non-gory, non uh, overly violent and disturbing way.
That's why you should always try to make what? Learn the alphabet? Give you what's the alphabet? Oh, hey! We can teach you. Hey, stop it! Let's be excellent. Let's be excellent. Let's be excellent. No wonder what happens when I succeed.
It is great for getting that old school Resident Evil feel in that you have to try to conserve your ammo and avoid enemies. And they even have a bit where enemies that you defeat don't stay defeated after you leave the area, which is very reminiscent of the Resident Evil 1 remake. So you need a special tape so that you can tie them up if you want to keep them down. I really appreciated how the puzzles had lots of good variety, but they weren't so difficult that they became frustrating. A particular highlight I thought was a puzzle where you had to play a board game with somebody, and you had to be very careful, or uh, the outcome would not turn out well. I also greatly appreciated how the game had many different option settings. You had multiple difficulty levels, including some that unlock after you complete the game. While you're playing the game, you can find hidden cheat code tapes that let you start the game. That let you, when you replay the game, add various modifiers to the game, like the ability to walk through walls or have or be invulnerable, have a more deadly weapon, that kind of thing. And so it has good replay value. And it also even has multiple endings depending on your actions in the game, with some secrets that you need to find if you want to get the best ending. I really liked how the game's world was laid out. It was very reminiscent of the early Resident Evil games with the mansion and the police station, how you had kind of a hub area and you had to go back and forth between different parts of the map as you gain keys and unlocked more areas. But unlike those earlier games, I thought there was better variety in the different areas you had to go to. It wasn't all just one type of area, but they had, more traditional children's show areas, and there was kind of a sewer area and some outdoor areas, and it kept the game interesting for its 5 hours or so that it takes to complete it. I also thought the art design was very nice with the puppets. Uh, Combining that whole, oh, they could be cute or they could be really creepy depending on the situation, and with the different areas looking memorable and different. I especially enjoyed the voice acting in the game.
Gordon, where are you going?
Where do you think?
What's the matter with you? Don't you want to be our friend?
You have a funny way of making friends. I'm lucky I haven't been hugged to death or eaten.
The main character is kind of gruff, but the puppets that you find throughout have very memorable voices, sound like they would be 100% at home at a cheesy children's puppet show. Now, sometimes they say things that you would expect to hear on a kid's show, and then they become creepier and weirder and more disturbing the longer they talk, and they are constantly talking while they're in the area to let you know that you have threats that you need to avoid. So great job with everyone who wrote the dialogue and directed and performed the voices. Some things I was a little disappointed in. I wanted to see more set pieces in the game where, you know, more gotcha scare moments. The way the game set out, just about every enemy in the game only engages with the player after you get within a certain distance. So if you see an enemy across the room, they don't do anything until you get closer to them, which I think worked well for the survival horror gameplay that they were going for, but conversely also made it less of a scary game because when you saw an enemy, you had plenty of time to decide whether you wanted to try to fight them or try to, run past them or just avoid them entirely. Also, something I would have greatly appreciated would be if the game had a temporary save feature. As it is now on most of the difficulties, you have a limited number of saves. You have to use some in-game currency to save your game with coins that are scattered throughout the world, which is not a problem for the easier difficulties. They disable this, but for the normal and harder difficulties, you have to pay to save like the old Resident Evil games, which is fine for increasing the difficulty, but sometimes you just want to, you know, temporarily quit your game because you're done for the night and resume where you were earlier. So it would have been nice if they had a temporary save feature that you could quit and save, and then when you reload, it'll delete that save. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Maybe in a patch. But all in all, I greatly enjoyed the game. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought if you're a fan of old school Resident Evil and want a cuter, sillier, funnier version of that, then I think you'll be right at home. And like I said, the game takes about 5 hours to complete, but there's multiple difficulty levels, multiple endings, various secrets to unlock. So if you want to really get into it, there's a lot to get into. That is my review of My Friendly Neighborhood. I will give it 4 out of 5 sentient puppet monsters. And this is Robert Boyd from Zeboyd Digital. Keep making and playing games.
Like and subscribe, it really helps us. Thanks for watching.